to this types of receptors. Okay, types of receptors. Okay, sensory receptors found at the end of the nerve fibers detect information in the external and internal environments. So sensory receptors function to detect information or detect the stimulus lah, in the external and internal. The location of receptors will depend on the types of stimulus detected. Okay, location receptors will depend on the type of stimulus detected. Each type of receptors is usually sensitive to a specific stimulus. So maybe one receptor can detect one stimulus like that, specific, or maybe like that lah. Okay, specific. Okay. For example, the sensory receptors that detect external stimuli are found in a special sensory organ such as eyes, nose, tongue, and skin, and also ear. Here should be ear lah. These 5 sensory organs all have the receptors to detect the external stimuli. Okay, the sensory receptors that detect internal stimuli are present in the specific internal organs, such as the pancreatic cells. This one in the pancreas that detect blood sugar level. So when we want to detect the external stimuli, we use the 5 sensory organs lah, the 5 main sensory organs. But for the internal organs, we have to use the internal stimulus. We have to use the internal organs lah. For example, pancreas, because pancreas have pancreatic cells that can detect blood sugar level. Okay, so types of sensory receptors and stimulus involved. So we have photoreceptors. So stimulus detected is light. So photoreceptors in eyes, right? Okay, detect light. Thermoreceptors, you remember the thermometer, so change in temperature. So this one, skin, right? We have skin. Okay, thermoreceptor to detect the change in temperature. Okay, hot or cold, like that. Okay, and then we have chemoreceptor. Chemoreceptor, chemical substances. It can be found in the tongue, right? Tongue, because detect the chemical substances in food, and also in nose, right? Okay, detect the chemical substances in air. Okay, baroreceptor, change in pressure. This one at aorta, right? And then we have mechanoreceptor, touch and pressure. This one skin. Nociceptor also skin lah. Okay, pain. Nociceptor, pain, detect pain. So maybe in the exam later, the question will give you the name of the sensory receptor, then you have to identify the stimulus detected. So you must remember lah. Okay, the type of sensory receptors and stimulus involved. So for example, we have here, this one is the external stimulus, right? External. Okay, stimulus. Light stimulus is the external stimulus, then detected by the receptor, photoreceptors in the eyes, or specifically in the retina. So then it will produce the nerve impulse, then send to the brain here through the sensory neuron. So sensory neuron is also the name for sensory neuron from the eyes to the brain is known as optic nerve. So if the optic nerve not function, that's why the people will become blind, because the nerve impulse cannot be sent to the brain, so the brain cannot interpret what you see. So if the optic nerve okay, so we can see lah the object. Okay. So this is the detection of external stimulus by the photoreceptor. And then this one, animals migrate when they sense changes in the climate. For example, maybe these birds or these animals live in hot place. Okay, maybe. So suddenly something occur at the climate, maybe become cooler a bit. So these animals will migrate to other place lah, to find other place, to find new shelter, to find another hot place so that they can survive. This is example lah. Okay. So necessity of response. So why we need to respond? Why we need to respond to the stimuli? Okay, why the organism have to respond to stimuli and internal stimuli? Okay, the ability of organism to detect changes in the external environment and its response to the stimuli is very important for the survival of organism. For some animals, a sudden change in climate conditions motivates the animals to look for new shelter. This one I already told you lah. This one. Okay. Okay. For us, we also need very important for us to detect the stimuli so that we can survive. Okay. We can maintain our body temperature. We can what? We can see. We can hear. We can taste food. For example, this is the importance why we need to respond. Okay, detect the stimuli and respond. So the ability of organism to detect changes in the internal environment is also crucial so that the information can be transmitted to the integration center. The integration center will then transmit this information to the effectors to respond to these changes. For example, when the body temperature increases above the normal range, maybe 37.3, for example, degrees Celsius. So this information will be transmitted to the integration center by a receptor. So receptor here, thermoreceptor. So thermoreceptor will detect, the increase in the body temperature, then send to the integration, impulse to the integration center through the sensory neuron. Then integration center will send the impulse to the effectors through the motor neuron, right? To decrease the temperature back to its normal range. So maybe at this time the response will be sweating, right? We will sweat, maybe we will drink a lot of water and so on to decrease the body temperature. So in conclusion, humans and animals need to respond to adapt to the changes in the environment. So this one, for example, the goalkeeper here, goalkeeper. That's why if you want to become a goalkeeper, you have to have a fast response. So that can save a goal. Yeah, usually for the athletes, they have to have this fast response especially for runner, right? They have to have the fast response. Okay, so that's all for this 12.1.